This review will take a quick look at the 1986 heavyweight bout between Tony Tucker, who was undefeated at the time, and James Broad, and this was for the USBA heavyweight title, and it took place in Las Vegas, and that's Tony Tucker on the left and James Broad on the right. And it's a rather interesting contest. I won't show the whole thing, I'll just get mostly the highlights, but let me get this on the screen here. One moment, please.
Friday night ringside. It's the vacant United States Boxing Association Heavyweight Championship scheduled for 12 rounds. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 12-round title bout, referee Randy Newman. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. He tipped in at 242 1/4 pounds. This gentleman has 20 wins, 2 losses, 14 knockouts. He is ranked number 3 by both the United States Boxing Association and the International Boxing Federation. A native of Greensboro, North Carolina, and now residing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Big James Broadaxe Broad. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the black trim. He weighed in at an even 216 pounds. This young man is undefeated in 33 professional bouts with 29 knockouts. He is ranked currently number 1 by both the United States Boxing Association and the International Boxing Federation. From the Motor City of Detroit and the state of Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, here is Tony TNT Tucker. Tucker.
Okay, gentlemen, you're both familiar with the rules of the state and the association. Do you have any questions at this time? All right, that being the case, remember, defend yourselves at all times. Shake hands and come out of the bell.
And so Ed Darien has rather dramatically and rather colorfully set the stage, and he has brought the fighters back to touch gloves. They have been snorting in that ring, walking around with the game faces on now for 7 or 8 minutes. They had to hold up while we had the intro to our television broadcast tonight, Murray, and that's why I suggested they looked like they had been caged. They're storming around this ring, ready to get at each other.
Sam, they're ready to go. They're all pumped up, fired up. They know what's on the line. They know the winner of this fight is more or less guaranteed a title shot. They're ready.
With the look on both fighters' face, I will be shocked if this thing goes more than 3 rounds. Broad misses a wild left. James Broad said today, the only word that is key to him in this fight is aggression. Aggression. He repeated over and over again. He will be the pursuer. It'll be incumbent upon Tony Tucker to counterpunch and stay out of his way for the first couple of rounds.
This is so unlike James Broad, Sam. He has been noted in the past as only fighting about 1 minute of each round. He's very, very lazy, so to speak, but he's come out, he's trying to knock Tucker out, this guy.
Tony Tucker, 33-0, as we pointed out a couple of times already, with 29 knockout, an incredible percentage of 88, which ranks him second to only Mike Tyson among the active heavyweights. But Broad has certainly brought the fight to him here in the early seconds of round number 1, as he said he would. And if James Broad looks a little bit different to you anatomically, it's because he has gone through a very rigorous conditioning program, and if the fight lasts long enough, Murray will tell our viewing audience tonight what he's been doing. But it's questionable how long this thing will last.
Sam, every punch that Broad's throwing, he's got every bit of his weight behind it, and that's a lot of weight. If one of those punches lands, this could be a very early night for Tony Tucker.
We're about halfway through round number 1, scheduled for 12. It's a USBA heavyweight championship on the line, but more importantly, looking past the belt in the crown for both of these young men is a big payday and Mr. Michael Spinks. Just so you know how this fight will be run, the referee, Randy Newman, it is governed by USBA rules, which means they have waived the 3 knockdowns. There is no standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop the fight, but he can request the doctor's advice. It is a 10-point must system if you wish to score along with us at home tonight, which means the winner of each round must be given 10 points. The referee has no count at all in the scoring of the fight. There are 3 judges ringside who will determine the fight if it goes 12 rounds. Nearing the end of round number 1, as you see, under 30 seconds to go, James Broad came out snorting, heated for about 30 seconds, and his aggression died very quickly. Murray, did it not?
It did a little bit, Sam. I have been observing, though, that Broad has kept the pressure on, just steadily walking into Tony Tucker. And he's doing what he predicted, putting the pressure on and keeping it on.
We'll return with more of this USBA heavyweight title fight in a moment. The bell in round 2, scheduled for in the fight to Tucker. Tucker has counterpunched very effectively and, of course, had that great flurry midway through. Oh, and a good right-left combination by Tucker again. He landed a straight right on the nose of James Broad. And Tucker continues to work the left jab.
I think we're definitely safe in saying, Sam, that Tucker has the faster of the 2 hands.
Good left jab. Forces the head back of James Broad.
I think if Tucker can establish that good, quick jab he's got, he's going to make this a much easier fight for himself. It's going to stop Broad in his tracks coming in, and just as we've seen there, he's going to connect with that good, sharp left hook after it.
Want to alert all of our local stations that we will be staying here at the Trump Plaza between rounds 3 and 4. We will remain here and go back to the corners with James Broad and Tony Tucker.
You're tied.
Tucker has worked Broad rather effectively here through nearly 3 rounds, and there is some blood now coming from the nose of James Broad. Tucker has been able to use his punches, counter punch, let his combinations go, and then tie up Broad at the points that he wants to do so.
Well, Broad is best known for his work inside, and this is what he told us in a pre-fight interview. He wants to get close to Tucker, nullify Tucker's sharp jab, and work close to the body. When he gets close to Tucker, Tucker's doing the wise thing and tying him up, just as we see right here.
10 seconds to go in round 3. Another very good round for Tony Tucker. He did not score as effectively here in round 3, but he certainly has piled up the points, and he's moving very well.
And let me pick action up a bit more.
Excellent crowd of nearly 3,000 here at the Trump Plaza. This, at least in this part of the country, has been a much ballyhooed fight. Broad and Tucker, who have done things at points in their career, basically as amateurs, to open the eyes of the boxing world, getting a chance tonight, perhaps as a gateway to a very big payday. The IBF heavyweight champion Leon Spinks awaiting the winner of this fight. Or perhaps I should say, the winner of this fight awaiting a crack at Michael Spinks. Did I say Leon Spinks? Excuse me for that. Leon held the ground for a short period of time as well. In a stunning upset of Muhammad Ali, and how well we remember that one.
Yes.
Under 30 seconds to go in the round.
In between the 4th and 5th round, Sam, the referee Randy Newman went over to Tucker and warned him about his low blows. Since then, he's landed another couple of really low blows in this round. It'll be interesting to see if this affects the scoring of the fight.
Friday night ringside continues from the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City in just a moment.
As you can see, this is a good showing by Tony Tucker. He's a tremendous boxer. And let me advance this a bit more and pick action up here.
Dominant figure in his life and his career, and good left hand. And some people feel that it's probably been to Tony Tucker's detriment that his father has been such a dominant figure. On the other hand, the young man suffered a dislocated kneecap and underwent surgery back in 1983. Was out of action for some 15 months. He's had damaged hands at times. It's put him out for 7 or 8 months. So in part, that's why he's had 6 years of almost anonymity. We are nearing the end of round 7, scheduled for 12. And it's almost like the coasting period in the fight. As if both are bracing now for the stretch drive. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Should they need it. Hanover, Murray Sutherland ringside. Hope you're enjoying this. And Friday Night Ringside will continue from the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino on the boardwalk of Atlantic City in just a moment.
Come on, next contestant from Cincinnati, Ohio, Mary Hay.
We are back live. Some people thought we'd never reach this far. I know one who's sitting behind one of these microphones tonight. Yours truly. This is round 8. Tony Tucker in the white trunks, James Broad in the black. You've just joined us from Trump Plaza in Atlantic. Don't you?
Very decided advantage, but as we all know, and we've seen in one of the preliminary fights, it's a 12-round fight, and that fight is not over till the 12th round.
And I'm going to let our viewers peek right over your shoulder here and tell them that you've given every single round to Tony Tucker except the first.
This is true. I scored one round a draw, being the 5th round. Every other round I've given on a 10-9 basis to Tony Tucker.
All right, sir. We'll add them up at the end and see how you did. If we get to a decision.
Oh, beautiful
Great combination by Tucker, and he's got Broad in trouble. James Broad is holding on. And Murray, exactly as you said, he is a very fatigued young man, James Broad. And Tucker is wailing away.
Those sharp left hooks that we were talking about earlier has taken a toll. Beautiful right hand there by Tucker.
Tucker using the jab. And Broad is just hanging on. Look how low he's carrying his gloves. He can't even get his hands up in front of his face. But I might also hasten to add that Tucker is a bit fatigued himself.
Tucker's thrown a lot of punches, and like you said, Broad is just like a big heavy bag, and he has just went 8 rounds in a heavy bag. He's going to be tired.
He has been knocked out once. Tim Witherspoon took him out in 2. And Broad said he was just awed by that whole atmosphere the night in Buffalo, New York, and Witherspoon took him out. But he is just leaning on Tucker, and Tony is almost having to hold him up.
Another vicious left hook there. One of those left hooks could end this fight, Sam.
Under a minute to go in round number 9. We alert our local stations we will stay here after round number 9. And we'll go back to the corner of Tony Tucker first. They've got to be pleased with his performance tonight. I want to tell you, Murray, I saw this young man and had the pleasure of doing a couple of Tony Tucker fights as an amateur for NBC back in 1980 and 81. Actually, 79 and 80. And he, at the time, was the most impressive amateur fighter that I had ever seen in my life. He was fighting as a light heavyweight. And then he disappeared, to my eyes, into a lot of people's eyes. And we have already enumerated the problems that he had. But he's got a world of talent, this young man.
He is one of the, along with Mike Tyson, Tony Tucker is one of the brightest prospects in the heavyweight division at this time.
We will get through round number 9, and we will follow Tony Tucker back to his corner and listen to his handlers, Luther Burgess and his father, Bob Tucker. An excellent round for Tony Tucker. Let's see what's going on back there.
You stay on top of it, you can win the fight easy. Or you really. Stay on top of it, Tony. Good aspect.
And let me pick action up a bit later. As you can see, Tony is a tremendous boxer.
You wondered whether the body punching would take its toll on Broad, and the answer is very clear here in round number 10 as we've reached a midway point.
Broad at this point does look the more tired of the two fighters. Broad connecting with a jab of his own then, but the minute he gets close to Tucker, Tucker grabs him and ties him up.
Oh, good left hand. Straight left by Tucker. We will caution you that in the preliminary fight that we had here, it was a similar one-sided fight. Tim Bullock, a virtual unknown, had Eddie Davis in all sorts of trouble, had him bleeding from both eyes. And we kept wondering if Davis would ever unleash the knockout punch, and he unleashed a flurry in what...
And let me pick action up a bit.
Here he goes. Backpedaling a little bit. What would you do if you were Tucker? Just clinch and backpedal for 3, or can you afford to exchange a few punches with the man?
Well, I think you've got to. I think he knows he has safely got this fight in the bag if he goes to 12 rounds, but at the same time, you've got that ego as well. You want to get in there and hit him as well. Plus, a knockout would look good. It would set him up for a great next fight.
way through the 12th and final round. Tucker still on the balls of his feet. And he's working the body and upstairs. Going a good looping right hand. Nails the side of the face of James Broad. Tony Tucker looking to go 34-0 and get a crack at a big payday. And he appears to be on the threshold of all of that. Despite having given away 26 pounds to James Broad, he has been able to weather any storm, and he certainly has had the better combinations, like right now. Flailing away with a right and the left hand, and the left hook has been a very key punch for him, as well as a left jab. And look at this finish. Broad punching very effectively, under a minute to go in the fight. It's almost like Tucker is telling him, we got it scored.
Sam, I have Tucker winning the fight on a decisive margin, 118 to 112. That is my scoring.
That is decisive. 6 points is a whalable margin as you look into the corner of Tony Tucker. And we are waiting now for ring announcer Ed Darien to get all of the cards together. And I believe he has them all together. So let's go up now for the decision. Ring announcer Ed Darien.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. And the scoring by points as follows. Judge Gene Grant observed the fight, 117-110. Judge Frank Cairo, he watched the fight at 117-109. And Frank Brunette scored it 118-111 for the winner. And the new United States Boxing Association heavyweight champion, Tony TNT Tucker.
Wow.
And that's Tony Tucker winning by decision. He later captured the IBF heavyweight title and had a bout against Mike Tyson, which he lost. And James Broad never fought for a title, but he had quite a few more fights, and he died a few years ago in North Carolina. And in the mid-'80s, around 1984, there was a really good boxing article about Tony Tucker. Unfortunately, he was difficult to follow because he was in and out of boxing due to injuries. And he was fighting out of Florida, and it's a really good article. It chronicled his career at that junction. I think he was probably about 26 wins, 0 losses, or something like that. But that's a good showing by Tony Tucker, and that'll do it. Let me get a final screen on here.